Hello, I'm Bella Issa. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a senior theater acting and directing major.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you for coming on, Bella.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, first of all, can you give a little background on BW Book Jackets? So, like, who are you and what's your mission?
Absolutely. So, I am the vice president of BW Book Jackets, and it is an organization that I created with my best friend Ursula in our sophomore year. When we got to college, and we're both seniors now, we noticed that there was no book club on campus, and that felt so weird for us because we went to high school together and we spent all 4 years in a book club together, and it made our experience so much better. So we knew we wanted to create one. Uh, we co-founded it together. Our mission is essentially to give everybody a welcoming community and also to, you know, give people diverse perspectives because we understand that literature is really a vehicle for empathy and understanding and, lovely stories.
Yeah, definitely. No, I just picked up actually my English minor. I fell in love with it after taking a couple classes. I love like all the diverse perspectives. One class that I really liked was Survey of American Literature.
Mm,
Just like looking at all of like the literature through it's like Survey of American Literature one, so it was looking from, I think it was like pre-colonial to like antebellum. It was so cool to see like all the different perspectives. I think
yeah,
it kind of made me a better person, honestly, looking at all of it.
absolutely. I love books. Even though I am majoring in theater,
Mhm.
books are one of my greatest passions. Like if I don't work in theater, I really want to work in the publishing industry. So in some capacity because I care about them that much and I need people to read more.
Yes, yes, definitely. I feel like reading, very good, I think reading offers like a lot of different perspectives. And I think that is very important. I think developing like empathy and like understanding other people.
Yeah, this might be slightly off topic, but I'm the type of person, if and when I have kids in the future, I see kids these like now, they have their iPads, which good for them.
Yeah.
But for me, reading books and watching things with storylines is what taught me to be a good person because
Yes.
and
Yes.
maybe that's like coercive, but I was excuse me, I was consuming, I hope, the right things, and it just taught me more than anything else could have. My love of books is what makes me love school and learning because you're just
Yes.
absorbing information like a sponge.
Yes. Very much so. All right. I want to ask about the Little Free Library project. To start off, what is a Little Free Library for those who do not know?
Yes. So Little Free Library is its own corporation or like just like a organization. They sponsor these things called Little Free Libraries, which are essentially mini outposts where you can, of course, keep books. And the idea is that if you want to take a book, you leave a book. So take a book, leave a book. It's meant to be all about sharing secondhand books and giving back to your community and kind of connecting you to those around you through books. Um, and there are unofficial ones, but if you want an official one, you can apply to be, like a chartered Little Free Library through their website, and that is what we did. So you can see the plaque on ours. So yeah,
Gotcha.
we have all those books there for anyone on campus to enjoy.
Very nice. Very nice. So when did plans for Little Free Library start? What inspired its construction?
Yes, I would say that it started at the very end of last academic year, so like the spring of 2024. We had been thinking about it. And sometimes me and Ursula will come up with the same ideas and just not mention them to each other because we like essentially here's what happened. I was like, "Oh my god, Ursula, we should make a Little Free Library." And she was like, "I know, but Claire from Circle K told me that they had tried and she said that they couldn't figure out how to get a permit from the city." So then I was like, "Okay, let me go call the city." I called the city in like May of 2024 and they were super accommodating. They were like, "Oh yeah, that's super easy. You just need to like send us an email and we'll be like, here you go." Um, so we were like, great, when we get back to school next academic year, we can just go forward with this. And then we found out that we didn't actually need a permit from the city at all because we were just going to do it on campus. And so
Oh,
we partnered with Circle K. We did it as a joint effort. And Ursula, Claire, and I finally made our dream come true.
very nice. Oh my goodness. So what was the process of setting up the little free library and like bringing it into a reality?
Yes, it first began with, as all things do, Pinterest. I went on Pinterest and I was like, okay, we need to figure out what our ideal shape is, size. And I found a couple inspo photos. I sent them to our group chat. And Maddie, who is our treasurer, she is a construction genius. I don't know how she does it. I sent her a photo and she's like, okay, let me do a mock up. And she sends our group chat a whole page of just like measurements and like the graph and the blueprint. And I was like, this is amazing. So of course we started out drawing it out, and then she sourced all the materials. She also has power tools at her disposal, which was very helpful to us. We literally could not have completed this project without that. And then one day in October, I believe, yeah, one weekend in October, it was mostly board members from both Circle K and Book Jackets. We all got together to start building the Little Free Library after Buildings and Grounds had put the posts in the ground. We had chosen the spot next to Marting because we thought it would be really cool to have the Little Free Library right next to the Rose Garden, especially because Marting is where we have all of our meetings as Book Jackets, and the Rose Garden is beautiful. So
Yes.
it was prime real estate, and we were so happy that they let us place it there. So for us to go forward, Buildings and Grounds had to place wooden posts that could hold what we wanted, and they were in like concrete buckets under the ground. So that's what stabilized it. And the day after they got those in, we went to start building. We thought we'd get it done in one session, and we were incorrect. Like the first time, I think it took us like 4 hours to even like start building the structure of the Little Free Library. And then our second construction meeting, which was the next weekend, I think, we all got together again, finished building it so that we could affix it to the posts. And then we had one more meeting where we painted. And mind you, it's freezing. But I can honestly say that we all had a lot of fun. The craziest thing was the amount of mud because, Buildings and Grounds had to get in the dirt. So there were
Yes.
piles of mud next to the posts, and we felt terrible because we were like tracking things everywhere. We did it after ourselves. But yeah, it took 3 sessions. I'm not sure if we did it sequentially over 3 weeks. I think we did, or around then. Either way, it was done in about like 3 or 4 weeks. And we painted it to be both bookish and like flowery, not necessarily to make it feminine, but to fit in with the nature that was surrounding it and the rose garden.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I kind of had this memory of I think I saw you guys in one of the sessions like setting it up. I was like, that looks interesting. I had like there was a little free library where I grew up and I was like, is that a little free library? That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh, sorry.
no, you go. You go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, my bad. Usually little free libraries are smaller. Like if I could give dimensions, it would be like 2 feet by 2 feet. So they're tiny boxes. But we were like, that's not gonna work on a college campus. So we made ours huge. Ours is like 4 feet by 3 feet. It's quite big. 3 different shelves in it. So that's another reason why it took so long to assemble. And usually you can buy little free library kits, but we found that was not the most economical decision, especially because we wanted to make ours bigger anyway. So we built it from scratch. I think I just lost my train of thought. Wait. I think that's all I wanted to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So with the Little Free Library, like with all of its construction, you guys were very clearly like very dedicated to it. What to you were you hoping to accomplish with setting up Little Free Library?
For me, I wanted something that I do love. I'm an aesthetics person. I did want it to look So that was one of my first goals. But more than anything, I wanted it to be something that people actually used. So not just functional, but something that people gravitated towards and people actually went in there and pulled a book out or put books in. And we have been astounded by the response because we are a relatively small organization. And to us, I could have seen members of our club and Circle K and maybe like a few, more bookish people, participating and pulling stuff out of the little free library and putting things in. But instead, it seems like there are a lot of people that actually use it. And when we came back from winter break, I remember seeing footprints in the snow that were leading towards the little free library because it's technically off the concrete path. And it made me emotional, and it does make me. And then there's the Thrifting Tree, who is like a BW student, but runs a thrifting social media account that is pretty popular. They posted a video thrifting books for
Oh my
our
goodness.
and they shouted us out. They shouted us and Circle K out. I believe the creator's name is Noah. It was amazing. It fills my heart with joy because you never expect things to actually be that successful, especially because we are such a small organization.
Right, right. Definitely had like a huge impact. What you said about the footprints in the snow, that like, oh, I was like chills. Oh my goodness.
Photos, and I posted on our story and I was like, wait, I'm getting emotional.
That's so it's like poetic almost. It's
I
like
know people are going out of their way to actually use books, and like it's not that the books in there are crazy popular ones. People are just going in there, one, because it's a good receptacle for just getting rid of books. That is, I will admit
true,
that.
yes.
You if you have books that you don't want anymore, feel free to put them in there because you're actually giving back to your community rather than just giving it to a thrift store where you don't always know what they're going to do with that stuff. They might throw it out. Um,
Right.
so you get to see where it's going, and then you can browse around, and it gives you less choices, but you feel more in touch with your community because like somebody around you was reading this book.
Right, right. You could be like in like the Starbucks or something, like reading the book, and like somebody walks past, like, wait, that was my book. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
yes, and I do know that the Thrifting Tree apparently signed the books that they put in the little free library and left stickers. So
Oh
that's
my
another.
goodness.
Yeah, we really want to encourage that. We love the idea of like leaving your own little mark on the book so that people know you were there. And we haven't gotten around to it yet, but we do want to incorporate some way that people can like sign like a little booklet when they leave stuff in the little free library so that it kind of creates a living memory. And also we want book jackets and Circle K members to be able to sign the structure itself because we were a part of creating it.
Right. You talked about it a little bit. Where can you find the Little Free Library?
Yes. So if you're facing Marting from Seminary Street, you go to the left between Marting and the chapel, and it is on the side of the building. Um, it's next to the Rose Garden, which is across from Davidson Hall. I hope that's good enough
Yes,
direction.
that was very good, very
Yeah.
clear. All right, I want to ask a little bit now just about the book jackets in
Yes.
general. So, what are some of the things that like you and other members do as a part of BW Book Jackets?
Like I said, this club is our little baby, so we spend a lot of time. There's Ursula as president. She handles all of the like contact with the administration of BW. I'm vice president, so I handle like talking to the students of our organization, so like email blasts and social media. And Maddie is our treasurer, so she of course deals with the money, and then she also has a plethora of skills that clearly we used for the Little Free Library. Um, and of course, I can't not say this. Heidi Thonin is our faculty advisor. She's everything to me. I love her. She's so sweet. She's such a busy lady, but she will still find time to like text us and be like, guys, for the meeting, I left a bucket of candy outside of my office and some bookmarks for you to just like pass out. And we're like, Heidi, oh my God. Um, so our meeting structure is essentially we will have like a discussion meeting after giving people a month to read a book. So at one discussion meeting, for example, we just had our meeting about lessons in chemistry, which was the book that we read over winter break. So we discussed that, and then we announced our new book for the month of I guess it was technically February, January, yeah, February. Um, as which is Feybound by Sada El Arifi, and then we pass out library copies because we have a very close relationship with the BW. I mean, the Berea Library. We go there a lot. And then we give them a month to read that book, and in between, 2 weeks later, we will have activity meetings. So we have discussion meetings and activity meetings because we don't want it to just be about the reading. We also want it to be about the community. Um, so a recent activity we had, we're getting our book binding process started again, which was something that we set up last academic year, where members of our club can literally make their own books. So we use a chunk of our budget to buy all of those supplies. And then over the course of like 3 or 4 meetings, and they are admittedly a little bit longer because it's a time consuming process, but it's a process that's been around for thousands of years. So it's very cool to be a part of. And you can bind things that you wrote, things that you found online, or like you can make like journals and stuff, a sketchbook. And at the end of it, you will have a physical version of this thing that you created. And like I said, that takes a couple meetings. That's just one example. We've also bedazzled books or embroidered the covers. Recently, we had our biggest event to date, which was the Storybook Gala, and it was February 1st. It was a big fantasy ball, with the kind that you see like around the country, except those usually cost like $250 just for one ticket. We charged $8, so bit of an affordable option. And basically, it allowed people to dress up, and we held it at the SAC, or the Student Activity Center, and people got to dance, and there was food, and we decorated the SAC to the high heavens so that it looked super whimsical. And I personally made like a fake stained glass feature so that it looked, more medieval. So yeah, we were super proud of that. And we definitely had fun. Like the e-board itself, being a leader of a club is a little too much power because you really just get to do whatever you want. And the story, like a dream event for me and Ursula. We were just dancing the night away.
Yeah, I was gonna ask actually about the Storybook Gala. So you explained that a little bit. Are there any more events like that coming up or anything?
Not as of yet. That's probably going to be a more yearly thing because it's going to be our
Mhm.
big fundraising event. And unfortunately, that means I won't get to see the next one, which is so heartbreaking. But
No.
it is like a slightly costly endeavor. So you got to set aside a big chunk of the budget to do it, but it was all worth it. So yeah, I would say check back next year. But like I said, our upcoming stuff is mostly bookbinding, which people can still join if they're interested. We haven't fully gotten it started yet, so they can still sign up and get their stuff ready. And then we kind of come up with our activity meetings, not on the fly, but like as we go. We don't have them completely planned out because we want them to be less rigid. Like for example, we
Right.
might have some sort of like painting outing, whether it being like painting or painting pottery, just for everybody to get involved in.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I have one last question. What are you currently reading?
Oh my God, what am I currently reading? Okay, that is a wonderful question. I am re I'm gonna give you multiple answers because the fact is I'm reading multiple books.
Yeah.
I am rereading Crown of Midnight, which is the second book in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, and it is my favorite series ever. But I haven't reread it in like 4 years. So it feels like I'm, coming back to this world that I've spent a lot of time away from, and it's making me really happy. It's very comforting. I'm also reading something for my senior thesis, which is a theater project about, because I'm Middle Eastern, I'm taking, hopefully going to get Middle Eastern students on BW campus to participate in this process where we will eventually stage a Palestinian play. So I'm reading something called Theater of the Oppressed, which is by Augusta Boal. It's from the 70s, and it's all about like, well, first it dissects like theater in itself, and then it talks about how you can create theater in marginalized communities.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Very
that's
nice.
where.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was absolutely wonderful to talk to you.
Oh, you too.
Of course.